Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
For me again, you can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss you, we eat the your little rat you. Use the youth, them on them, waste, must have anti-statue. Say me like a catch you, but bigger than a figure you. Take the spit of money, girl, and say that it's not you. One day, the man above end up in my gutter. But too much it in the kitchen, some fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me
300% raise.
It burn me
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me
Give the teacher them
It
raise.
burn me
I see corruption
It
face.
burn me
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rough and they down in our river. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me
Or them a treat the son man.
It burn me
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me
Or them a treat everyone.
Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't.
Good evening, and welcome to Drive Time London. We have not done one of our Drive Time London program in quite a while. Good evening and welcome to everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for joining us. Like and share the live, please. And tell your friends and everybody on your social media page that Drive Time London is on this evening. Yes, Drive Time London, lunchtime global. Thank you all very much to my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good evening and welcome. Debbie Jervis TV, good evening, real sweet. Good evening, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. To those silent listeners, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this evening on our Drive Time London. And we're going to talk about water crisis in our country. We certainly have it. And if you grew up in the era that I grew up in, you'd want to ask yourself, have we really progressed when it comes to our water situation, or have we gone rather backwards? It's for us to answer when we choose those who we choose to lead us. Democracy, 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 party pacery, democracy, or whatever the word is. The New Don Anderson poll suggests that 45% of eligible voters have signaled that they'll be voting in the next general election. Still not enough for democracy. If 45% of the eligible registered voters decide to vote, then that's below half of the eligible voters. And within that 40 to 45 amount of it, you still have those who sell their votes to whichever politician they choose. What is democratic about our electoral system when less than half of us are electing those who represent us? And within that less than half of us, we choose to be transactional with our vote. A business between us and our political representative. I give you money and you give me your vote. It's pretty much like that. That's the system we are engaging for decades now, and it's getting worse and worse when it comes to political representation and people selling their votes to politicians. Do you see why we are in some of the infrastructure or service crisis that we're in? Water is woefully one of them, if we're to be honest with ourselves. For those of you who would have grown up in rural Jamaica within the 80s, where we mainly rely on standpipes. Personally, for me, where I come from, where there's a lot of rivers and springs, the Black River, the Carsey River, which is in my community. But we're suffering some of the most water deprivation, as much as we have river in our community. Because we continue to sell our votes, politicians continue promising us, and nothing happens. Now, in this post-colonial era, post-independent era, standpipe was our major thing. We have not really elevated, because during the days of standpipe, what you have was high water pressure. you have a more cleaner drinking water system, and you have local pumping stations that were working in many places, such as my community. The destruction of the pump house in our community, and then them tell us them are going to connect with the Black River water. We have been in a water crisis since they moved that pump from our community and tell us them are going to traffic water from Black River Giwi. Now, with community is filled with black tanks. How can we call things like these progress? Because I hear the government going around every minute talking about them water tanks, them water shops, and this and that. We have moved to a less safer use of water because the contamination of water in a plastic tank in Jamaica heat. That's why we can't drink water anymore. So we're pushed. When we grew up as a country, but we used to drink pipe water safely, we can't do those things again. We used to have powerful standpipes. Now we have expensive black tanks with less power and pressure, less safety. And we cannot blame this on one government. We just cannot do that. Because especially this government keep upping up the rhetoric about water tanks, water discount, water amnesty. The conversation that they're not advancing much. I'm going to want to then hear Andrew talk about it when him talk about sparks. Irrigation and distribution of water in our country. Irrigation and distribution of water in our country. This is the major problem that none of our leaders are really addressing properly. Irrigation and distribution. Because the money with this government, if this is not deliberate, or this is not lack of care for the people, Colleen, I'm doing a bit better, it's actually not the flu, it's my allergy. I have come in contact with some new dust that I'm not used to. I went out on Wednesday. I was on the bus a lot on Wednesday. And they must pick up some unusual dust or whatever along the way. It's actually my allergy because when I have flu, it comes with a lot of pain, which it isn't at the moment. So it's more the allergy. Hopefully, it's soon gone about its business. But we're not really progressing when it comes to water in our country. We are rather going backwards. The hope of money the Prime Minister invests in all of these black tanks and these water shops and all of these things is a backwards moving society that goes from standpipe to water tank. So what about those old colonial pipeline from that system where the slave master set up? You mean them low all of them the fee destroy without any replacement? Or are we being directly, as a people, sabotage when it comes to the water issue? Because we, the people of Jamaica, is having more of a water crisis than the tourism sector in Jamaica, where seemingly, as it was the case in Western Westmoreland with Matt and his people last year, when they seemingly diverted the water from the communities to their hotels and their friends, and turn around to lie to the public about it. These are the things that we need to hold our politicians accountable for. The water, what them keep promise we from summer we a baby, before summer we born. We're still waiting. We were waiting for proper irrigation and distribution. How did we end up in a water tank society? How did we end up in a contaminated water society where we can't drink pipe water anymore? Because this is so many Jamaicans are complaining, say, the pipe water not good. The pipe water give them belly ache. The pipe water give out dirty water sometimes. Isn't this a deliberate crisis? And government keep pumping money into water tanks. What about pumps and modern pipeline? These people lie a lot. I remember in my community, in the late 80s, the very late 80s, we did have those iron pipeline just slightly below the ground. Some places, they run above ground. Jason Jones, thank you. Some places, they run above ground. During the 80s in my community, and a lot of part of St. Elizabeth that was happening, they changed out those pipes to some of those big, thick, blue PVC pipe. The way they were big, as children, we could have creeped into them. That's how big those new piping they were putting in. That we could walk, creep in at them and them something there. But ever since they've removed our pump, which we come find them for the slave master them, put them from day one. From the move we pump within a water crisis in my community. This does not just happen to my community. We're having this water crisis right across Jamaica. Successive governments have always been putting money into the National Water Commission. Ask yourself, where are these money going? If we're not seeing the development in our rural communities, if our rural communities are going backwards, if our rural community are going backwards when it comes to water distribution, then something is actually wrong. And that's why we have to continue talking about all of these things, because we cannot allow corruption to take over our country. We just cannot. It has taken over enough of it to the point where it damaged our country at every sector and every level. We're going to listen to Matthew and Andrew and them water noise, because it has become bare noise when it comes to water, because all these investments that them tell us that them are pump into water, we the people really aren't seeing it. We the people aren't seeing those things. But the government regularly tells us of their water narrative, how much and what they're going to do for us. Bear with me. Why it's not clear?
The government of Jamaica will spend over $20 billion on water. Under the Spark program, which is to deal with roads, we don't only build roads, we build a utility corridor, the utility of public transportation, the utility for internet broadband cables to be run, the utility of water. We're going to be spending about $2.5 billion on pipes for the Spark program. And Rural Water has been doing an amazing job with the small little projects all over Jamaica. They're going to be spending about $1 billion. For the first time in a long while, the NWC has been able to fund water projects out of its budget. But we're going to put in a lot of money into water projects to support the NWC.
Brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
I'm tired of hearing this rhetoric. How much we're going to put into water. How much we're going to upgrade our water. But it has not happened. We still continue to struggle with the same old.
Are you excited about the
Matthew Samuda at press conference last Wednesday, or this Wednesday rather, you remember he told us a mouthful as well.
As at Friday of last week, we have engaged with some 10,116 persons who are seeking to benefit from the amnesty. We can report that already 1,674 customers have been fully reconnected, and a further 2,489 are approved for reconnection, and that will happen over the next 2 weeks. There's an additional 3,400 inquiries by citizens who have reached out for details outside of the 10,000 who haven't come in yet or haven't taken advantage of their appointments. What this means is that the Water Commission has written off the debts or the arrears up to $238 million for customers, a debt that was largely uncollectible and that was affecting thousands of households. We have applications for benefit up to $658 million. But what is important and what members of the media should be aware of is that this has also generated for the National Water Commission since January 1, $98.9 million in additional revenue that would not have come in. To remind everyone, the primary beneficiaries are pensioners and those on path. We've also extended the beneficiary list to those who are trying to transfer titles from persons who would have died, who left particular size bills to facilitate commercial transactions. This expansion is good for Jamaica, good for the National Water Commission, and of course due to the disabled community as we show what a caring government does. As at Friday of last week, we have engaged.
My problem is with the amnesty. Kate M., how you do? My problem with this water amnesty, what people are paying water bill for at Jamaica, because literally a lot of these people rather, that you're giving amnesty, the water amnesty to, half of them a dry pipe you charge them for, sir. Dry pipe. Half of them not getting water in a them pipe. Half of them even if they might get like a dribble, dribble, drip, 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 it's not enough for you to even flush your bathroom or turn on your shower. This is why we have become a black tank society. Because if we use we luxurious bathroom and toilets them are going to think up and mess up our way because we don't have water pressure to enjoy with nice kitchen and with nice bathroom in our house unless we invest in a black tank. Who is benefiting from this black tank where Jamaica is turning into a black tank society? Who is benefiting from the sale of black tank in our country? Who have a contract to bring in black tank in our country, and the more black tank them bring in is the more devastation to our water system. Water shop, water shop, water shop. In 2024, 2025, rather than our leaders are telling us, look how well we have spent your money. We make sure water is being distributed equitable in Jamaica. We not just turn away the country's water to the big hotel them, and then the country is left to use contaminated water. Somebody is benefiting from this black tank society that Jamaica has turned into. This poisoned water society, this slow poisoning of our water that has been enforced upon us through black tank. The enforcement of contaminated water to make sure Mr. Chin or somebody else supermarket, we have to go buy drinking water because the water will come through with pipe. The water we will store in our tank, it's not safe to drink anymore. When the older we in a Jamaica grow up drinking pipe water, we should have a more cleaner and safer pipe water for drink now, isn't it? This is not even like Britain. We don't know what to say. Britain, when you're shit, yeah? Me have to talk it the real way. When you're shit, everything go to the river in a Britain, then Britain clean that same shitty water and give we back for use in our house. We know, say, we can't drink it. Some people drink pipe water in England. I definitely don't. But a shit water, them are clean and a give we in England for use. And when I have water pressure or water problem in our property, because building couldn't go all the way to Jericho and Jerusalem, water pressure still got it. Because irrigation and distribution. We have some very clean rivers. We have very, very clean waterways. But our governments allow our waterways to become contaminated. Not only that they have allowed them to become contaminated, our leaders fail to develop our water so water can be equally distributed in Jamaica. How come the tourism industry doesn't face the debacle of water that the ordinary rural Jamaica experience. When you don't find those things to be a problem. The tourism industry is not having the water problem that we, especially rural Jamaica, is experiencing. You don't see an issue with that. You don't see something weird with that. That the more our tourism economy is developed, is the more rural Jamaica is become suppressed, especially and suppressed and deprived, especially of our water. If the hotels in Jamaica were having the water crisis that my community experience when we have a river in our backyard, in our community, we have one of Jamaica's longest river in our constituency, which is the Black River, which could supply the entire Jamaica with water. The Black River, if irrigated and properly distributed, can serve the entire Jamaica with water. Ask yourself why. Taros King, wagwan bro, wagwan. Welcome to my Instagram live. Ask yourself the question, why we suffer water crisis and the tourism sector ain't going through the water crisis that we, rural Jamaica, is going through. Ask yourself, who is benefiting from the black tank society that we have become? Ask yourself, who is benefit from the slow poisoning of our water? And every one of them come, them pledge, them put money aside in our budget, but we don't see the progress with NWC. Anybody who grew up in the 70s and 80s and you think we have advanced when it comes to water distribution, me don't know which planet you live on. Me really don't know which planet you live on, because we have many standpipe then. The pressure of our standpipe were high. We used to have river where we go wash and bathe then in the 80s. My community have to resort, especially when they burial debacle were there. My community has to resort to going back a river, go wash and bathe. So we don't see no progress. When the few hosts in our community back in the 80s and early 90s, where they'd have inside kitchen and inside bathroom work well without a tank then, because water pressure was decently high, where you could use, for those of who would have been the well off at the time, that could have an inside kitchen and bathroom. Those people never have to carry water in a bucket in them bathroom go bathe. Them never have to carry a bucket of water in a them bathroom for go flush them toilet when them use them toilet. Because the water pressure was that strong where it not affect you from using your bathroom. Even when we left Jamaica in the late 90s, what happened in the community now, where you can't use your bathroom if you don't have a tank, it wasn't like that when I left. Because when I left Jamaica, the pump house in my community was still working. That pump was removed by Dr. Chris Tufton, I think, in 2011. And since that, everything went south. And we have become a black tank society. When we have river in a parity, we have river in a Black River, our community is water deprived. If you don't have black tank, you can't use your toilet and bathroom. We have not progressed Jamaica. So we will have come fight off people for no favorite politician them. We don't love the bad life. We don't love the disgrace. Listen, read what go on, bro. We have pipe water before. Exactly. Pipe water and electricity before New York. And look how we have become backwards. Jamaica has not progressed. Jamaica has not progressed in infrastructure. Look at the JPS debacle. Look at the NWC. Look at our roads. When we hear people talk about, whoa, Andrew, I build up the country, Andrew. The high-rise buildings in Kingston and certain other places in Jamaica, you, the average Jamaica, cannot pay for it. Just like the average high-rise building in the UK people can't pay for it. And the Russians and the Chinese and the Dubai and the Saudi Arabia, are them people there. I buy up them high-rise building there. High-rise building is not necessary economic development. Because high-rise building are only a few top-tier people can afford to buy some of the apartment them or rent some of the apartment them in those high-rise building. High-rise building is not necessary economic progression. Or basics as a society have not yet been met. Road, light, water. These basic services, road, light, water, we are in reverse. We are going in reverse. Black River. There's a guest house in Black River called Waterloo. Waterloo is a historic place in Jamaica, even though Jamaica don't recognize historical things. Waterloo was one of the first places in Jamaica. Waterloo or Black River was one of the first places to have electricity. St. Elizabeth was one of the first places to have a hydro dam. Black River did have pier when the white man them in control of Jamaica. We have a lot when it comes to wharf and port. Black River could honor if government see the need to develop them place there. Black River have all of that going. If you say Black River now, mash up, derelict, ghost town, what them do, they move the only, I don't know why them still call Black River the capital of St. Elizabeth. The whiter side, because you know St. Elizabeth was split in a black and white. You have those on the south side of St. Elizabeth, where all mass are descendant them. And you have the rest of it are mostly the African descent, the Old Master picnic them, most of them on the south side of St. Elizabeth, Pedro, Flagaman, Newcomb Valley, Junction, Southfield, the whole of them places, Treasure Beach, Bacon, and the whole of them places. But what they have done is almost remove the capital status from Black River to Junction. The only thing they can lift up from Jamaica, from Black River, is the old derelict abattoir, what them call hospital down there. Okay, if you want dead fast, book your tour and end up at Black River Hospital and see what happened to you. Because they close the dead house. Majority of the banks, them close. You have to go to Santa Cruz or Junction. So not even the history of Black River, this government don't seem to even protect, not even the potential what Jamaica and Black River have for those level of development where we can have a port and them something there. No, not at all. Water shop, water shop, water shop. St. Elizabeth farming have been stifled by this water disgrace that we end up in as a country. Continue to sell your votes, it's going to be pretty much the same. Continue to sell your votes, it's going to be pretty much the same. Continue to protect your politicians to steal from you, mismanaging your resources, committing corruption left, right, and center around you. Continue. We don't think none of our politicians them lose anything. Is we the docile dunce lot of Jamaica that always loses? Because you know what? While we turn up there, a war for protect Labour and PMP for thief from we, they are doing well for themselves. They are doing well with businesses. They're doing well with import licenses. They're doing well with government contracts. They're doing well in kickbacks. They're doing well in our money flowing freely to them. To the point where 11 years now, neither PNP or the 9 years of Andrew Holness government cannot tell us about $3 trillion. From the last 2 to 3 years of Portia Simpson's regime to the 9 years, to the 8-9 years of the Andrew Holness regime, they cannot account to us for $3 trillion. And we still stand up and fight over them. When you still stand up and fight over them, when you're picking, you can't go to school because you cannot afford it. We as a country, I really think every day it's show more and more that as a country we really don't want good for ourselves. We want good for our politician. There's no doubt in that. We've shown that day in, day out. We've shown it in every election cycle that, you know what, this is really not about us. This is really about our politicians. We have to make sure we give them power. We have to make sure them go in broke and come back out rich. We have to make sure before them come back out, they have apartment building, they have businesses, they have foundations, and they have all sort. What have we achieved? The common services that our tax money should pay for, advance, and develop, they are all falling apart in front of our eyes. Light, water, road, healthcare, education, and a cohesive social society. Why do you think crime is so prevalent around us? Young people don't see futuristic way out. Government has just not provided it. It's one of the things that we elect our leaders for, is for them to take decisions that make our life better, that develop all of these things with road, with water, with light, with healthcare, with education, or economy or infrastructure, the prospect for young people see value in work rather than in crime. What our politicians, I think they do, is make crime look fancy and profitable. Because a lot of us don't see it as crime, especially if we're political partisan. But what our leaders are doing, they're committing major crimes against us on a day-to-day basis, just by the corruption and the crooked way in which they run our country. They are putting themselves, their family, and their friends first. If any of our political leaders and party had put our country first in what they do, we wouldn't have fall behind. Singapore wouldn't have taken our model, run with it, and become successful. What we have done, rather, is fallen into a cesspit of political tribalism and corruption. Look at us. Look at us now. How much of us murder on a yearly basis by each other? How much of us the police murder on a year-to-year basis? It's not working, Jamaica. What we are fighting over and protecting is not working. What will take us to wake up en masse? Because a lot of we wake up and say, it not work. This bull, Sudbury bull, isn't working. It works for few. What we have now is really working for the few, not for the many. But aren't we a major part of the problem? We're probably the biggest part of the problem. Because if we wanted our politicians to do well, to do right by us, they will have to do it. But when you think democracy has become capitalism, a quid pro quo, where I give you $5,000 on a box food and you gave me power for 5 years. I give you $5,000 on a box food and you give me power for 5 years. But please be reminded, when I get to power, throughout that 5 years, I owe you nothing. It was a business transaction between us. I paid you to vote for me. You voted for me. Done. Our contract is completed. Our agreement is completed. Whereas if it's on a promissory note, it would be a different thing. Because when it's on a promissory note that you support me at the polls, and I will make sure you have road, water, lights. We do everything to make sure jobs are developed in your constituency. If that's on a promise, we call it in law promissory estoppels or whatever you want to call it, or promissory note. Promissory note would be more applicable here. If at the end of that 5 years, and that promise to you has not been fulfilled, when he comes back for a re-election, that is where you wave your promissory note at him and say the contract between you and I is broken because I fulfill my side and you have not fulfilled yours. So therefore, I cannot vote for you a second time because you never fulfilled the promise. Now, in an organizational structure, you could have gone to the court and sue for breaking that, what we call a promissory estoppel. Because you carry out your side of the bargain. They made a promise to you to fulfill their side of the bargain, which they failed to do. But because of our political tribalism, we have what is called safe seats. Even if your politician kill your picking, you still are going to vote for him. You're still going to vote for them because you cannot see yourself voting on policy. Even if the other party comes with a policy that sounds logic to you, that sounds sensible, you are going to ignore that could advance us. And stick with that which you don't see a prospect of going forward. This is why we're not progressing in Jamaica, because everything we do is in the interest of our political class and our political masters. Everything that our political masters do, they have to do it at the behest of their puppet masters, the Europeans, the Americans, the World Bank, the IMF, and all those bull strings that we find ourselves latch on to with very little happening for us. And remember, tonight, it's Friday night, and on Friday night, we look at how things are turning in the geopolitiking of things. So make sure you join me back tonight for the people's point of view. We have not done a Drive Time London in quite some time now. So thank you all for being here this afternoon. We definitely will be coming back with not Drive Time London. We're doing Drive Time London actually now. We will be coming back with the people's point of view this evening. And of course, we will look at something from the geopolitical perspective of things. So thank you all for turning up for Global TV, Drive Time London this evening. Sexy K, how are you? Thanks everyone for their support. Make sure you turn up. You know our time, 6 p.m., 11 p.m. UK time. So thank you all very much. This was just a little talk about our water crisis in our country. So join me back this evening for the people's point of view. Thank you all very much. Good evening. And if you are in the eastern side of things, it would be your good afternoon. Thank you all and goodbye.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.